Did you see Johnny Harris' apology Instagram post about his shirt that we watched yesterday? He deleted the video. Yeah, I heard that he deleted the video. You do not under any circumstance have to share a meal with fucking Nick Fuentes. I mean, yeah, that's another one too. Or defend the notion that Nick Fuentes is not a Nazi to your fan base and fucking literally ban people from your subreddit for calling you out for
capital, because the initial, with half the vote in, Haley was getting exactly what she was looking for. Now almost all of the vote in is in. Again, we thought she needed to be in the high 50s, close to 60 here. She's sitting at 54, so that might be
release the Kernacki.
She wanted to get out of Concord again with almost all the vote in. And then what you're seeing here is we're showing you, cities, small cities, or some of the Concord's the third largest in New Hampshire. But when you get more down to the town level, just about all the vote is in here in Hillsborough right now. Trump 63, Haley 34. Again, we thought Haley needed to be around 40% here. Just about all the vote is in Bristol. Haley is running at 42. We thought she needed to be in the high 40s here. And we also now have a little bit of vote. It's not much, but we have 17% in the city of Manchester. Manchester, the largest city in New Hampshire, about 115,000 people here. You see Trump running at 56-42. And basically, we thought as Manchester goes potentially, so goes New Hampshire. This is one we kind of looked at and said, look, if Haley's running even here with Trump, that probably signals basically an even race statewide. If she's ahead, advantage Haley. If
they wanted her to be within 10 points and she's in one, no. This is like, it's too early to tell. But also, no, she's like around, what was it? Like last polling show, she's around like 5 points to like they wanted her to be within single digits of Donald Trump, which she is.
Over more money down here. Then you get Rochester here, more working class. And just take a look at what we thought Haley needed to get out of here. Again, we thought she needed to be about 40%. She's at 36. There's still a vote to come in, so we'll see how she does. But there does seem to be a divide as these votes come in here. That in these cities.
What does my man say? Steve Kernacki
any minute now.
NBC decision estimate turnout has been raised twice today and is now at a higher than expected.
We can start getting results from these cities and towns, and I told you what we're going to be looking for. But another thing,
330,000 estimate means that it's actually significantly higher than 2016 or 2015.
To keep in mind is this. This is the current NBC News Decision Desk estimate of what the turnout will be in the Republican race. 330,000 is what we have it at now. I can tell you that number has been raised twice today, based on reports coming back from the polls, based on what we're seeing in terms of foot traffic here and reports from the polls themselves. So again, higher than we were expecting, it looks like, turnout. You see some of I've gone through the areas that are requesting more ballots. I will show you again.
This guy Natty Arangier, Kernacki, he's a roid head, big time.
But is she going to start missing? Because these smaller...
Can't you tell? He's so fucking jacked.
They start to add up, not individually, but collectively, they start to add up. And if she's consistently going to fall 5-10 points short there from what we think she needed to be getting, that will take a toll on her as more come in. So that's what we've got so far. We'll see as more come in. And again, Laconia, we just check on. Yeah, again, this is now we got about a fifth of the vote here. Laconia, this is one where she's falling so far well short, double digit short of where we thought she needed to be. So again, you're seeing a mixed bag for her, and we want to just see. We also got. Yeah, New Boston is a very small town. New Boston just came in and just, again, give you a sense of what we thought Haley needed. Yeah, this is basically exactly what we thought she needed here. So, again, that one is good news for Haley, but she needs good news across the board. If she's getting bad news consistently in the small towns, she needs to make up for it by significantly overperforming in the cities. And again, Concord, a good example here. She'd need to, if she's running poorly in the small towns, this number would probably need to get up closer to 60. So we'll see more coming in. The initial pattern.
Yeah, you're right. Chatters are right. One Boston is good enough. We don't need two. We don't need a new one. What the fuck are you guys doing?
Can ballot, and then on their way out, if they want to go back to being undeclared, they can go ahead and do so. Now, this is the kind of area that Nikki Haley really needs to rack up her margins, because
Her breathing is so funny.
In 2016, a lot of folks here went for more moderate candidates, the Kasichs, the Bushes, right? So this is an area where she really has an opportunity. At the same time, we've also been meeting a lot of undeclared voters and Democrats who have been writing in Joe Biden, because that is the other factor that we're dealing with here in New Hampshire that we weren't dealing with in Iowa, right? You've got Trump and Nikki
Her
Haley.
fit is straight fire. I just hate her because I'm a misogynist. No, I hate her for what she did to John Fetterman, but like now I hate John Fetterman way more than I hate her, so I don't know.
So we're seeing all of these dynamics at play as we've been talking to voters and watching the process unfold here, Tom.
Dasha Burns, we appreciate you and all your reporting. I want to get back over to Chuck Todd over at the big board because we're getting some new exit poll data when it comes
she didn't
to the major
she didn't shit on John Fetterman like that because John Fetterman was like going to become a reactionary, though. She shit on him because John Fetterman was a beacon of progressivism at that point.
The Republican electorate is not like most Republican electorates. And look at this. A federal law that would ban abortions nationwide, 67% of this electorate opposes that, just 27%. Remember, Governor Chris Sununu is a Republican governor, and he's considered pro-choice or pro-abortion rights. But let me compare this just to show you the difference between the New Hampshire and Iowa electorate. Same question we asked in Iowa. 61% of the Iowa Republicans favored a ban. 27, so you see, again, a huge difference.
But tougher to draw on who this helps, right? Because Trump has been out there.
Well, that's the irony. I was just going to say, Trump and Haley have both sort of tried really hard to make you think they agree with you on abortion, whatever your position is. They're both kind of elusive on it. Obviously, Trump, because he appointed the Supreme Court justices, can't fully get away from some of these abortion questions. Haley, Haley's been sounding more pro-abortion rights than I've ever heard her before previously than this campaign.
The only time, bro, even in the Republican caucus inside of New Hampshire, it's still only 27%. You can't say it's divisive. If only 27% of Republicans favor a federal law banning abortions nationwide, it's no longer divisive. It's certainly not divisive in America. We're talking Republican primary voters, okay?
With the Boston Globe. James, thanks so much for joining us tonight. Talk to me about what stood out to you so far as we're getting the exit polling data in. We're projecting a record turnout in New Hampshire as well.
Yeah, first of all, these are impressive voting numbers from New Hampshire voters, but I will say New Hampshire actually does turn out. So in some of these communities, particularly where Nikki Haley needs to do well, I'm thinking of Portsmouth, for example, and Concord, for example.
Bro, they're cranks. It's such a crank state. It's a crank state. That's why. It's so perfectly representative of being a crank when you also have high turnout in comparison to other states for the fucking primaries, okay?
And along the Massachusetts border and Hillsborough County, which is where I'm at here in Manchester. And we've seen some reporters out in Milford and obviously where Dasha's at in Nashua. They make up 55% of the Republican primary base. If you want to include Concord or Merrimack County, that's now 2/3. So the southern tier, the Boston suburbs, the Boston media market, that is where this base is going to, that's where this race will be decided. And I'll say one more thing. If you look at some of these margins where Nikki Haley needs to do especially well, she is winning. She is probably not winning by the type of margins she will need to sustain some of these more rural communities where Donald Trump is racking it up. And for that, I'm thinking of Laconia, where he's crushing it, or on the western side in Claremont, where he's winning he's getting 60 to 70% of the vote. That's going to make it really challenging, I think, for Nikki Haley to come out of this. But it's these last votes, the ones that finish at 8 o'clock, that's going to be Nikki Haley territory. So we won't really know exactly where she stands until later in the night.
Do we know where the turnout is sort of higher than normal yet in the state? Which regions, or we're not sure?
Yeah, we do. I mentioned two counties, and one in particular is all that I'm obsessed with whenever there's a Republican primary, whether it's for state Senate, governor, obviously president, and that's Rockingham County. This is, it does tend to have a mix of people in the trades, some blue collar, but a lot of it is bedroom communities for Boston that are white collar and are college educated. They're disproportionately the group of those 10 communities that did seek more ballots. They're the ones that we have seen anecdotally more turnout. I know NBC News or MSNBC.
Imagine the first woman president being a Republican. That is not hard to imagine at all. If anything, that is the definitionally that is the more likely outcome. It's the most likely scenario. Hillary Clinton would have been a Republican president functionally. What's a bedroom community? I think it means like these guys are mentality wise Massachusetts, so they're woke, but they live in New Hampshire because it's cheaper. That's what it means, right? Isn't that what that means, chat? That's what I assumed. Like they're commuters. Work in Boston, but lay their head in New Hampshire. Race car beds. Yeah, that's what that means.
In the last week in particular, he has been an integral part in creating some excitement about her campaign, probably even more than the candidate herself, who closes her last rally last night. Her closing rally was only 34 minutes of a talk and no questions. But he has clearly been trying to go out there and convince people that this is actually something to care about and to vote against Trump. Now, Tom, I would spend about 2 hours at polling places around New Hampshire, particularly in Rockingham County.
Why do you think a woman is more likely to win as a Republican? I don't get it. Republicans have an image issue that they must soften. Like, yeah, sure, they're misogynistic and stuff, but if the candidate is a woman, Republicans are going to get whipped in line. And that optic of like having a woman, I feel like would genuinely captivate enough moderate liberals that they would turn around and vote. Not like a Sarah Palin type. Obviously, Sarah Palin as a vice president, according to some people, ruined John McCain's chances. But like Nikki Haley is not like that. Nikki Haley is like the perfect. I mean, she's clear. She's Hillary Clinton. I just called her Killary. Conservatives love tokens, but for Nikki Haley, it's beyond that. It's liberals that would vote for her. George Santos arrived at Trump's watch party in New Hampshire. My fucking queen, dude. Looking spectacular.
Boastful, really, today of how well they thought they were going to do here, how they thought they could close this race out. Even everything
guys. Nikki Haley has like an 8-point lead on Biden on polls that are coming out, okay? The media has been sucking her. The media has been sucking her so hard, constantly talking about the mother quake and how she's cunting and she's slaying. Okay? What are you talking about? There are liberals. Go ask your liberal friends. Go ask your older liberal family members that watch like MSNBC and shit what they think about Nikki Haley. And hear them fucking sing her praises like she's not a psychopathic right-wing reactionary.
The idea that independents and Democrats might be, if not ruining, but at least changing the character of the celebration they are hoping to have tonight. As for the senior leadership of the Trump campaign team, I can tell you kind of the old like axiom of campaign nights is the people who are talking don't know, the people who know aren't talking. The sort of inner cloister of the Trump campaign team is going to be watching these numbers very closely. But their candidate, always sort of tips his hand a little bit about how he feels watching the results come in.
Right, and two very different sort of campaign managers and people leading this campaign than Trump campaigns of the past. I do want to go back to something you said. George Santos is at the watch party there. How's he being received?
I saw myself, Tom, taking pictures at the bar with a lot of fans. I mean, he is, in his own way, a very much a MAGA celebrity and a creature of this moment. I haven't had a chance to talk to him myself yet, but the selfie line was long around the former congressman at the bar just a few minutes ago.
Garrett Haig for us at the Trump watch party for tonight. We're going to check back with you, I'm sure, very soon. We've been talking about election alerts. We now have a khaki alert. That means Steve Kornacki is going to show us where Nikki Haley has to go to find the votes. Steve, great to have you tonight. Tell us where she needs to go.
So right here, I think what jumps out is this. The 6% in this Republican primary right now call themselves liberal, and 31% call themselves moderate. That is a combined total of 37% saying moderate or liberal. In 2016, last competitive Republican primary in New Hampshire, that total number was 29%. So this is 8 percentage points higher. Again, if you're having far more non-Republicans participate, it might follow that the ideology would move a little bit away from the conservative side. That's what you're seeing. Again, key question, is this a red herring, or are the numbers going to remain like this? Other things we can show you here. We talked so much in Iowa last week about the role of evangelical Christians. They were an outright majority of the caucus electorate, 55%, and they went overwhelmingly for Donald Trump. They were the backbone of his Iowa landslide last week. What share in New Hampshire identify as born-again Christians and evangelicals in this first wave? It is 19%. Again, that is far lower than Iowa. We knew it would be far lower than Iowa, but also New Hampshire is one of the most secular Republican electorates you're going to find. But 8 years ago, it was 25%. So it's down even from that I keep saying this, broken record, but it's important, in the first wave. Other key findings I think we can show you here. I want to show one more from the second page, and that is, we asked this question in Iowa, and we asked it again tonight. Do you consider yourself part of the MAGA movement? And the answer here in this Republican primary in the first wave is 64% say, basically 2/3 say they do not consider themselves consider themselves part of the of the MAGA movement. And I'm just searching to make sure I get the right number here. In Iowa last week, the number of no's was 50. So it's jumped up double digits here in this first wave.
Steve Kornacki for us. He can't stop. He's still going. Steve, we got to go. We thank you for that. I want to bring in back the panel now. So, Rich, I want to ask you, we've heard from a lot of sort of Republicans. We've heard about some of the people assembling around the Trump watch party. People.
You are scared to watch a debate between Shapiro and your daddy. We all know you have a very fragile ego. First of all, I'm actually excited at watching the Ben Shapiro Destiny debate. Secondly, there is perhaps nothing more pathetic than, like, advocating for a Twitch streamer and fantasizing about how this person is, like, somehow scary and powerful. It literally, dude, you got to really legitimately reevaluate your perspective on the world. Like, you're talking about, like, a YouTube streamer, cake streamer. Like, it's that important for you. Life. Like, it's that important in your life that you're saying, like, this is your daddy. I feel like the level of being cucked in that situation, no, we will never reconcile. Don't be a fucking idiot. You are, oh my God. I'm going to give you an hour off. You are still butthurt from losing a debate to daddy? Oh my God. It's like sleeper cells, brother. They activate immediately. That's crazy. I don't know if you know this, but there were plenty of debates that I did with Destiny way back in the day. You can watch them. Some of them are on my YouTube page, actually. The last time I mentioned them was like 4 or 5 years ago. Just for the record, there were plenty of debates where he got his shit pushed in, like when he was talking about Donald Trump and whatnot. But a lot of that stuff is basically Stalin style, wiped off the record. You know, because you guys care more about an image of, like, destroying your interlocutors or whatever. Also, yes, please stop calling him daddy, you fucking losers. Jesus Christ. Didn't know there were this many hate watchers, brother. Let me tell you. It's not, yeah. I can say the N-word in the vacuum of space debate. Yeah. Remember the N-word debate and how his fan base still like they whitewashed the record and act like this was a phenomenal banger of a line. Like that was the logical conclusion of that one, where I was like, you shouldn't say it in private. Especially because when you say it in private, you will say it in public. I'm not a hate watcher, but I am in general just kind of a hater. Respect. I respect that. I watch those debates. They are not worth it. I know. To be fair, though, it is really bad. Remember when he started yelling at Dick Wolf about fiduciary responsibility like he was the good doctor yelling at Dr. Han? Or Michael Brooks? There's plenty of fucking wonderful debates where Destiny gets fucking packed up over and over again. His fan base refuses to recognize them, of course. Sometimes packed up by really awful people, too. Such is the nature of being a guy who likes to debate. Not saying that Ben Shapiro will ruin him or anything like that, because I just assume that they will most likely agree on more than they disagree on. Been hate subbing you for 4 years. Now I feel like I should get a reward for that. Yes. The level that Reddit hates you is wild. That automatically puts you in a good light. I know, but it's just so fucking annoying. Why is Nikki Haley this close to Trump? I don't get it. He's a former president. New Hampshire is weird. A lot of independents. Yeah. Any Nikki heads in the chat? Real Haley heads stand up. Me, Nikki Slaley. I'm a Nikki Slaley fan. Did you see Johnny Harris apology Instagram post about his shirt that we watched yesterday? He deleted the video. Yeah, I heard that he deleted the video. You do not under any circumstance have to share a meal with fucking Nick Fuentes. I mean, yeah, that's another one too. Or defend the notion that Nick Fuentes is not a Nazi to your fan base and fucking literally ban people from your subreddit for calling you out for doing such a thing, and then haphazardly trying to act like, oh, well, actually, I just meant like he's a nationalist. I just wouldn't say that he's a national socialist or whatever the fuck. Like, I see the memes, brother. I know. Just because I don't talk about it doesn't mean that I'm not aware of like some of this shit. Have you forgotten about Doug Burgum so quickly? I forgot about that faster than the top of the hour ad break. Don't forget Lawrence Southern too. You know, the woman who shot flares at the boat. Yeah, it's not an accident that his fandom were defending Lawrence Southern, Nick Fuentes at the time, but they will turn around and, rewrite that too and be like, no, we were always actually very aggressively anti that. Or Sam Hyde, all these people, just all the best people overall. Whoever Destiny wants to rehabilitate, his fan base will ride for. Whoever Destiny hates in that moment, his fan base will turn on and will literally be like, that's the worst person on the planet. Problem is, I've been the worst person on the planet for the past 5 years. So that's the major problem. That's it. Yeah. You got rent control in his brain? Oh my God, I know. Those dumbasses think we don't know there's logs of Destiny saying shit like genocide the Jews on Twitch. Yeah, it wasn't on Twitch. I think it was on DGG or the N-word. But it doesn't really matter because his fan base is insanely fucking racist for the memes, but also simultaneously incredibly progressive at the tip of a hat. They're like if fucking Kiwi Farms could actually operate with a little bit of decency and make themselves seem liberal. When it benefited them. You know what I mean? God, this election is so fucking boring. Yeah, see, talking with people doesn't equate supporting them, right? Unlike you supporting a terrorist, Destiny doesn't support their views. Like, dude, you are literally a 50-month subscriber, brother. Do you understand how fucking psychopathic that is, chatters? There are 50-month subscribers in here who are literally fucking fans. I mean, there's nothing I can do about that. Like, that's awesome. That guy will turn around and be like, yeah, actually, I didn't used to be, but I am now because you've changed. Like, that's insane. Guys, you don't understand. We were having chicken and waffles, but we were also debating each other in good faith. Motherfucker gave me a $250. The New York Times needle is up. It's over. I know Decision Desk already called it. Trump heart strikes again. Bye-bye, white girl. Nimarata. Primary over. I concede nothing. Says Brian the Scotty. Not a good look that he struggled with Haley. No. It's the struggle is not a real struggle. It's just for New Hampshire because New Hampshire is a weird state. There's a lot of independents. New Hampshire and Iowa are like weird in different directions. Like Donald Trump is coming in with a sweep after this. Nikki Haley had to win in this state. This was the only state where she was coming close. This is the only state where chat cooking you? What do you mean? 4.3? Did I get a 4.3 for the ad break? That's crazy. This was the only state where she was even coming close to you know, striking distance of Donald Trump, and it still didn't matter. He still won. You did too? Oh, that's why. Well, I didn't run it last time though. I'm running it now. I forgot to run it last time. His chat became entirely tuned to your stream over his, and now he's watching Law. What do you mean? Are we talking about Donald Trump? I said this already. I think that CNN hyping up Nikki Haley is a bad idea. Why is it a bad idea? Because I think, and this is, by the way, this has nothing to do with anyone else's analysis on the matter. As a matter of fact, many people think that I'm wrong, right? But I think that if Donald Trump takes Nikki Haley and puts Nikki Haley or a female VP pick in general that's not like super kooky like Carrie Lake, he can posture as a person who is a little bit more moderate to at least some of the moderate Republican Party voters, especially on the issue of abortion, because he desperately needs that right now. Nothing signals that you care about women's bodily autonomy, I promise, but like I'm still going to fucking, you know, I'm the guy who did the abortion ban thing, like having a woman on there. Okay? Some people are saying Stefanik. Some people have brought up Lee Zeldin as a consequence of Sebastian Gorka's take that he knows who it's going to be. It's going to be like someone from New York, blah, blah, blah. I don't think so. Some people believe it's Kristi Noem. I think Nikki Haley signals that Trump is going with a moderate, especially after how much CNN and everybody else gassed her up. If he were to turn around and bring Slaley on board, I feel like all of these liberals that have been watching the media hype up Nikki Haley, I feel like they would be like, you know what, maybe I'll give Trump a second look. You know?
We see it here in Antrim. We see it in Hillsborough. We talked about this one earlier. Again, she'd want to be in the 40s here. We talked about it in the city of Claremont. She'd want to be probably, mid-40s there. We're waiting, I think, more on Laconia. We still haven't got much more in, but again, this is one she'd want to be doing much better than a third. So again, the statistic we've been tracking here is it's so crucial to any story about the Republican Party, and really in the general election, too, is that college...
I personally think the unity ticket is RFK Jr., and I think that would be the best move. Okay? RFK Jr., unity ticket, you get literally you get the daddy vote, all the people that are like, RFK's hot. They're going to be like, I want a hot president. I thought Trump was hot already. Now he's gotten even hotter. Okay? I hate vaccinations. I think that people should die from Legionnaire's disease. Like, if that's the type of attitude you have, okay, RFK Jr. is the guy for you. I'm telling you. Trump RFK unity ticket, baby.
Corner. A lot of these are 8 o'clock poll closing times, and I just want to look here to see what we had. Now again, this is Haley did well. Again, she did well. She had 48%. We thought she needed to be in the low 50s. You notice a pattern in the good areas. She's not quite getting there, and in those smaller towns, in those rural places with lower median income, with lower college attainment rates, she's falling farther.
Dude, I can't even get myself to fake care about this. It's crazy. Like, I want to. It's just so irrelevant. If I'm an executive producer of one of these shows, I'm just straight up putting a microphone on every single person that's voting. Because that's the only thing that's interesting. Like, the only thing that's interesting about this entire process is like the voters. Go talk to them and be like, why are you voting? I don't care about like the tabulation process. You know what I mean?
1, Peters 0.
Like, this part sucks. This guy said vote DJT, but censored himself. Why do you think vote is censored in this chat, chatter? It's not interesting. They're stupid and insane. No, voters are interesting because they're stupid and insane. So at least it's fucking content. Okay? I want to hear from the guy who's like, I'm not a part of the MAGA movement, but I think that Chris Sununu is like a pedophile vampire, and that's why he endorsed Nikki Haley. You know what I mean? I want to hear from the Donald Trump supporter that's like, Nikki Haley is my queen. That's the beauty of the American electorate. They're so stupid. It's a sea of contradictions, and that's what makes it awesome. I want to hear about the guys that are like voting for RFK Jr., especially. That's what I want to know. I think the real conservatives and Trump guys are coming back to the chat, hoggers. Dude, that is so exciting. Thinks the numbers are fake? Dude, I love how much like the elections are stolen narrative is so permanent in the Republican Party that they're just like hurting themselves in confusion now. Like, every election is fake. Even if Trump wins, there's still fake, like, fraudulent results here. Every election is fake because like Trump didn't win by the margins that she was supposed to. It's awesome.
And the next one is my sweet state of South Carolina. At one point in this campaign, there were 14 of us running, and we were at 2% in the polls. Well, I'm a fighter. And I'm scrappy. And now we're the last one standing next to Donald Trump.
Trump is 30 points up on Haley in South Carolina. Dude, you want to hear the fucking maximum quote from Nikki Haley on that, by the way? She literally said every single member of the state legislature backed Trump over me because I was too tough of a governor because I cared more about the people. It's like, dude, the people elected the state legislature too. What are you talking about? Like, that's insane. Your own state is pro-Trump. This is some real fucking Elizabeth Warren energy here too. Except she is charismatic. Why are they so excited about her? What does she offer them? It's like watching people go hysterical over the Super Bowl. No, it's way worse than the Super Bowl, brother. What are you talking about? Writing for a team that you've cared about your whole life, that gives you fulfillment and enjoyment, destroying your enemies, ritualistically humiliating them, the opposing team, historic rivalries, that is way sicker than giving a single shred of a fuck about Nikki Haley, okay? Are you kidding me? I perfectly understand why motherfuckers ride for, NFL teams and the like, especially when they make it to the goddamn Super Bowl. Nikki Haley fucking sucks. Her framework and her attitude and her legislative agenda is damn near identical to Trump. It's just aesthetically packaged in a way that's different, okay? It's just aesthetically packaged in a way that is more appealing to the more moderate Republicans. She is for the people that say, I like Trump, but I don't like the way he talks, okay? And the reality is a lot more people like Trump because of the way he talks than vice versa, okay? This is the reason why many of the Republican Party will still fall in line with Donald Trump at the end of the day. But she didn't try to overthrow the election in 2020. I mean, I think Trump's biggest problem with January 6th isn't necessarily that, like, he tried to do an insurrection and failed. I mean, that's a problem for some, for sure, okay? But I think the biggest issue is that he doesn't shut the fuck up about it, or didn't shut the fuck up about it for so long. Now that he's not talking about how he didn't actually fucking lose the election, he doesn't like constantly chirp about it as much, and is like chirping about other shit that Republicans supposedly care about, like immigration or whatever the television man is telling them. He's still talking about it, but not to the same degree. He was coping way too hard. There was a point, I think you guys are forgetting, from January 6th till like the midterms, okay? For the 2 years where Trump was like both around and not really around because he was like kind of isolated at Truth Social, he only talked about how the election was stolen from him. It was ridiculous. It's just like, it felt like the only thing he would fucking talk about was that. And that gets really boring after a while, especially if you're like, wait, what? It's not about chirping. The dude tried doing a coup, bro. She wouldn't. Brother, what are you talking about? 60. Like, guys, a very solid chunk of the Republican base of support thinks that the election was stolen. Okay? If you legitimately think that the election is stolen, it's perfectly valid for you to want to like do something about it. Take matters into your own fucking hands. Okay? The idea that like she wouldn't do a coup or she would do a coup, all of that stuff is so dumb. Nobody votes on those boundaries, dude. You vote on tax cuts and racism.
It's nothing. And we have Joe Biden in the White House making one bad decision after another. When he's making any decisions at all.
Yeah, I think the indictments were a fucking gift because now he can talk about political persecution by like the deep state or whatever, instead of constantly chirping about how he didn't actually lose the election. Like, that shit was boring. Republicans are fucking losers, okay? They are. They love reliving the glory days about like a time when they used to be the prom king or whatever, you know what I mean? Like, and they're couch potato fucking losers. And Trump does a really good job of tugging at their heartstrings and talking about a time when they were fucking legends and how the gay liberals stole that time away from them. But no matter how big of a fucking loser you are, there's a point where you go, okay, well, this guy seems like a bigger loser than me. He just won't shut the fuck up about how he lost the election. And I think that's what happened with Donald Trump. But then the political persecution narrative actually heated up once again with the many different indictments that came, many of which were valid, by the way. But that changed the conversation away from like, oh, the rear view mirror of like being attacked for, January 6th, which was an insurrection, but it wasn't an insurrection. And I didn't do anything. And it was a perfect phone call. And Joe Biden stole the election from me, to like, the Democrats are coming after me because, they're coming after you. I'm just standing in the way. I think now he talks more about like shit that, like, he's got new material.
Republican chaos. The other day, Donald Trump accused me of not providing security at the Capitol on January 6th.
Oh, she's saying he owed.
Now, I've long called for mental competency tests for politicians over the age of 75. Trump claims he'd do better than me in one of those tests. Maybe he would, maybe he wouldn't. But if he thinks that, then he should have no problem standing on a debate stage with me.
I mean, that'd be sick. Oh my God, that would be sick. Actually, that would be kind of content. If Trump went up against Nikki Haley and then literally fucking ripped her, like called her like Indian Hillary Clinton, you know what I mean? Oh my God, dude. Nimrata. Folks, I'm not the one hiding. She's like Elizabeth Warren, folks, but on the other way. Also Indian. Just, oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Don't be embarrassed, Nimrata. Just, God, I would make such a good Republican consultant. It's not even funny. It's like, everyone always says, Hasan, you're a grifter, but it's like, God damn, dude. If I wanted to grift, Tim Pool, step aside, bitch. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes I wonder why you call her charismatic, and then she says shit like this, and I get it. Oh, Nikki's a...
And guess what? In the
like
next 2 months,
Republican candidate. I mean,
Joe
she's like
Biden
an old school
isn't
Republican
going to
Party,
get any younger
loyalist.
or any better. We'll have all the time we need to defeat Joe Biden. When we get to South Carolina, Donald Trump's going to have a harder time falsely attacking me. The great people of South Carolina know I cut their taxes. They know I signed the toughest illegal immigration bill in the country. They know we passed voter ID and tort reform and ethics reform. And they know we moved 35,000 people from welfare to work. Every time I've run for office in South Carolina, I've beaten the political establishment.
It's so funny. Everyone is like anti-establishment.
Surprise.
Totally. Nikki
Carolina
Haley is who I think of when I think of anti-establishment.
They won an election.
Bro, that's like Fox News constantly chirping about mainstream media. It's like, bro, you are the most mainstream of mainstream media. You're the most popular news broadcaster. What the fuck are you guys talking about? These guys love LARPing as like revolutionary figures that are, very different than everybody else. It's really interesting. It's really interesting to think about how like that message is actually very popular in the right-wing circles.
Nikki Haley with an energized speech to her campaign headquarters in
Is to portray yourself as the underdog? No, I think the funniest thing is like, well, it's right-wing persecution complex for sure. They are constantly looking for victimization. Like, oh, dude, there's so many vectors where I'm victimized. That's a very normal right-wing attitude to have. I do think, however, that the anti-establishment narrative goes beyond that. The establishment or mainstream media is presented as like this liberal giant, right? This liberal giant, and everyone is fighting against it. And the Republican establishment, you're against the Republican establishment. And it's interesting that both Donald Trump and Nikki Haley are hitting that line because, one, Donald Trump was a fucking president. It doesn't get more establishment than that at that point. And Nikki Haley is like a old school institutionalist Republican Party person, right? And it's interesting because I feel like Democrats don't do that as much. Like, you don't hear Democrats, with the exception of like Bernie Sanders and the like, run the anti-establishment, the establishment fears me narrative. They are very pro-establishment. Democrats are like, no, I'm the most established.
Hampshire, saying that he sought to end this Republican primary today so that they could focus the party's resources around beating Joe Biden in November. Tim Scott, Vivek Ramaswamy, Doug Burgum, all former rivals joined him on stage last night. And this was a moment that the campaign...
Hello, my freedom-loving patriots out there. Hey, if you end up seeing this video on your FYP, I want you to do me a favor. I want you to, first of all, give me a follow. I want you to drop a like, and then comment the state that you are from. I want to meet some of you guys, and I want to follow some of you guys. I hope to see you soon. Stop by my live if this live is flashing. God bless you. Have an amazing day.
Nice to see a fellow patriot. He does sound like Ares. I know you probably answered this before, but does the Dem Party know it's Jover? And if so, would there be any kind of campaigning happening now to try to get Nikki Haley ahead, even though it won't work for, I'm sure? No, I think the Democratic Party is sitting on its ass because they know they have the abortion button. And they're going to hit it
If you
hard.
want something said, ask a man. If you want something done, ask a woman.
Bro, this fan cam is insane because there's like booty shots in this, by the way. It's like an Nikki Haley fan cam literally had booty shots in it. No, it's not even a joke. We watched it the other day.
The experience and it shows.
And you know what?
Charlie Kirk with a nuanced take on DEI.
I think this United story and the DEI story hits so hard because we've all been in the back of a plane when the turbulence hits. Or
bro, nobody is suffering harder from the lack of momentum from the Brandon side than the Republican commentators. Okay? These guys they're so fucking sad. Like, they are looking for new narratives, and they are having such a hard time, dude. Dude, Matt Walsh was advocating to, like, run a anti-MLK narrative. Okay? You've lost the plot so much. There's only so many ways that you can be like, I'm a racist white supremacist. That, like, still keeps it kind of entertaining. If most people don't respond to you saying you're a racist white supremacist, if there are no libs to own, okay, and people are just like belittling you rather than being afraid of your white supremacy, it kind of destroys the reactionary project. It falls apart entirely. Like, how many people watch Charlie Kirk?
when you're flying through a storm and you're like, I'm so glad I saw the guy with the right stuff and the square jaw get into the cockpit before we took off. And I feel better now. Thinking
no, I mean,
about
like,
that.
you want to go thought crime? Like,
he's like, man, so glad that there's a sexy ass white pilot manning the cockpit.
Sorry, if I see a black pilot, I'm going to be like, boy, I hope he's qualified.
Well, that's the you wouldn't have done that. You wouldn't have. You wouldn't have done that before.
That's not an immediate.
No, you.
That's just being racist, dog. Like, what you're considering a thought crime is just like you being like a very racist, dumb person. Why would a black pilot immediately cause you to feel like he's not qualified? Other than being black, like, what is the reason why you think that? I guess the argument is because he's going to say, like, well, DEI has caused me to be racist because, like, DEI initiatives are, which is made up, obviously, like, are putting unqualified black people into positions of power. And that's why I feel scared when I see a black person. And it's like, no, it's because you're racist. That's the reason why you made up the DEI analog to just like be racist with like a little bit more permission. And that's why when you see a black pilot, you get scared and assume that they're worse than a white pilot because you're just fucking racist. It's so funny.
See a black pilot, I'm going to be like, boy, I hope he's qualified.
Well, that's the you wouldn't have done that. You wouldn't have. You wouldn't have done that before.
That's not an immediate.
No, you wouldn't have done that before.
That's not who I am. That's not what I believe.
It is the reality.
Yeah. They're like, yeah. That's not who I am. It's DEI made me this way. And before DEI, it was CRT that made me this way. And before CRT, it was affirmative action that made me this way. And before affirmative action, it was me saying the N-word that made me feel this way. You know what I mean? Like, guys, you don't understand. It's all of the other things that I also made up to like give myself permission to be racist that made me into a racist person.
Reality the left has created.
And that's why.
Anyway, good stuff from the brilliant minds in the reactionary right. Here's another good take.
These are fake numbers. Nikki Haley does not have this much support. She's going to come out and claim that she's rising in the polls. All these fake news media people up here on this platform are going to claim that Nikki Haley is rising in the polls. It's a total, complete.
Having to think about race should not automatically make you more racist. The fuck? No, it is when you're racist. That's the point. It's when you're racist, but you're trying to act like you're not racist, and your racism is actually the product of like some kind of logic and reasoning.
Lie. Absolute lie. Tonight, Nikki Haley was defeated. The problem is she's going to be dumb enough, and she's going to be a fake candidate, and she's going to keep going, and we're
Marjorie Taylor Greene has sex with this person on a regular basis. Sorry to put that image in your head, but that is true. They are dating.
going to destroy her in South Carolina.
It's cute that like there's a little boyfriend-girlfriend interview happening
It's
here.
going to be a complete humiliation. I can't wait to see it.
I can't wait to see it. I can't wait to see it, folks. All right, well, fuck you actually for telling me that. I love that you say that every time. Oh, let's hear what HasanAbi reply guy Frank has to say.
That question that you asked your colleague moments ago is the question. If she wins, if she loses by less than 10%, she has permission to go on, voter permission. If that becomes a double-digit loss, it's hard to see how she recovers. In terms of her language, three things that matter. Number one, electability.
Called it. You do understand that if New Hampshire is close after Trump claimed he was going to win by 30, that he and MAGA are going to claim it's rigged? Yeah. But also, to be fair, the liberals are also going to make a lot more about New Hampshire than needs to be made. Like, liberals will look at New Hampshire and be like, Look how close Nikki Haley is. I mean, obviously, there's a lot of interest in the Republican Party for a different candidate, and they'll point to that, which is what they're doing right now. Okay. And the Republicans will look at that and go, it's rigged, brother. Anyway.
The issue is they are these classic George Bush Republicans waiting for their moment to come back, and they're not. Right? When you look at how Nikki Haley performed tonight, Republicans didn't vote for her. These George Bush Republicans might have money, but they're not Republican voters. And it was independents that.
Damn, where was that energy when you were talking about never Trump Republicans, though? Media, when never Trump Republicans are pushing for Nikki Haley, correctly and accurately point out how marginal that is. But when Trump is president, they're like, never Trump Republicans are the most important constituencies. It's massive. Nobody knows. Liz Cheney probably going to be the president one day, honestly. That's exactly what you said. Moderate Republicans are just Democrats. Yes. Especially when the Democratic Party is like actively leaning towards that base. They are actively working to secure that base of support. Like, they are looking at the suburbs and saying, fuck the working class, fuck the poor. They can't really fucking vote anyway. It's much harder for them to vote. Fuck it. Let's just get the kind of racist, but definitely wants tax cut guys that are just offended by Trump's rhetoric. Considering that those are like the last guys that are voting. Democrats like Republican voters more like than they like their own voters? Yeah. Liz has shown she's capable of being truthful even to her own detriment. Is this a Turkish guy hosting this channel? Oh, fuck this. Liz has shown she is... I'm not Turkish. My name is Hank. I'm a racist. Please don't leave. What? A Turkish guy? Get the fuck out of here. Are you kidding me? No, I'm fucking not Turkish at all. Boo. Ew. I love tax cuts. That's why I'm watching the Republican primaries and I'm pro-Trump. Quick, get the hat. It's called Hank Pecker. You're American? I am, but like when someone goes, ew, is this a Turkish guy running this show? That I don't think they care about that.
Hell yes, I am.
They're still advertising ivermectin? Hell yeah, brother. Hank Pecker of English descent or Scottish descent? It don't matter to me, partner. It don't matter to me, partner. Oh my God.
So what's going on? What is, I'm assuming this is our friend.
Audio reveals that the chair of the Arizona Republican Party tried to bribe Kari Lake not to run for the Senate in Arizona. They're very powerful people who want to keep you out. Yeah, no shit. And it's not because she's a brave truth teller. It's because she fucking sucks. And the Republicans are desperately trying to put like a better candidate. They don't want split ticket votes. That's so funny. Yeah, dude, I love shit like this. And I've said this. I've said she's radioactive from the jump. She is so insane. She's way too insane. Even especially for a place like Arizona, actually. Arizona's a weird place because they also, like I said, it's like the reverse New Hampshire in some ways. But they pride themselves on, being the Maverick John McCain state, okay? And it's shown time and time again that putting like a Blake Masters style psychopath is not going to fucking work. It didn't work. She's insane. She's absolutely nutty. It's not going to work. Arizona organizer here can confirm is very fucking weird here. Yeah, dog, is 110 degrees in the summer. Average. Of course it's going to be weird. What do you mean? Your brain, half the time, your brain is literally evaporating. And yes, Arizona is home to the Never Trump royalty, aka the Republican Party pre-2016.
This is back east. There are very powerful people that want to keep you out.
I know they do.
But they're willing to put their money where their mouth is.
Okay, I don't believe this. No, this is fake. Never mind. No, I don't believe this. This guy has the vibes of a big city lawyer. Like, no shot. Oh, I say. They're very powerful people trying to keep you out of this race, Carrie. Your weed too strong, Carrie Lake. Your bitch too bad, Carrie. Your hoes too bad, Carrie Lake. Your weed too loud. They'll kill you, Carrie Lake. I say. They'll kill you, Carrie Lake. I do declare. Don't you do it. They're actively replacing those, and we must say that repeatedly and clearly. I said this in a prior segment.
People who have control of the left in this agenda